policy, I need a motion for policy 5530.005, random drug testing and policy, and also policy 3218.005, displays and postings in students' environmental.
So Niglia moves to delete policy 5530.005, random drug testing policy, effective July 1, 2026.
Pittman seconds.
Hey, Cheryl, floor.
I would like to have this policy deleted for the fact that in looking at the number of schools that have, that offers any kind of a drug testing policy, there's very few. I just don't know that it carries the same kind of weight that it once did. Along with the ones that we were given, I also talked to some board members at Cudahy, Greendale, and Muskego. Cudahy has a policy, but only if there's suspicion of use. Greendale has no policy. Muskego has a policy. They charge $10 a year per student for athletics activities and parking permit, and then they charge, and they do about 10 a month. So I just don't think that it's necessarily worth the time and expense. Granted, it's not a lot. I think it was $2 grand a year, but I just don't think that it carries the same amount of clout that maybe it once did.
Anybody else?
Yep.
Mike?
Yeah, I disagree. I think it's important that we keep this. If for no other reason that it's a deterrent. If some kid decides that he doesn't do drugs or start with drugs because he looks at this as a deterrent, maybe we saved one life along the way here for that, and I think that's important. I was for the school districts that don't have the policy. How do you know if you have anybody that that is doing drugs or their friends are doing drugs? It can proliferate very quickly. So I think this is important for the cost that's involved, and I disagree with Cheryl on this.
Anybody else? Meredith?
I'm going to state that I agree with Cheryl, and going off of part of it, when we had our student reps discuss this, which I think is very important to make sure we listen to the students, they both admitted that that box gets checkmarked by a parent without any type of conversation with the child, and that it is no longer a true deterrent. The true deterrent is social media, getting caught on that, and and though it's only $2,000, how many other only $2,000 items do we have? Those things start to add up over time. But the student reps are most important to me, but second most important was when Mr. Holler came and spoke and said that it is a removal from class time of the students. And if we are struggling with test scores and struggling to better utilize our go time, I don't think it's right to be taking students out of class time that they could be learning, they could be getting engaged, and then have all of the whispers and the distraction of where are they going. I think that it's unnecessary.
Ellie?
I have to say that I was not on the board when this policy came forward, but I've done a whole bunch of digging through the situation reports and trying to get a lot of backstory on the reason why it was brought forward. Excuse me. I'm a parent of 2 high schoolers, and I look at it through this lens that my kids, I want to make sure that they are given tools that they can use to make good decisions. And that's how I look at this policy. I think that so that being said, I am in favor of it because I think that it helps. Public education is a right, but being a part of any sport or club is a privilege. And I do believe that that holds accountability. I understand there's a part of the policy that I kind of sat on for a while, thought maybe this paragraph does make it a little bit weaker. The paragraph that they become eligible for random drug testing no later than the first day they participate, and then they remain eligible for the rest of their high school years. I mean, if we were to amend anything, I would suggest the time frame that maybe they only be active the year that they're a part of something. But then I did look at Muskego's policy. They have it for the whole entire high school. I don't know. I think that you could look at this two ways, but as a parent who has two kids in school, both of them being in activities, I think it's important, and I'm in favor of it.
While I fully support maintaining the strong expectations for our students in substance use and making sure that they're aware, I think that these funds could be better allocated into our counselors or real support that they can get, from our school versus the random drug test. Well, it's only $2,000. That $2,000 can go into, counseling. Or what does that look like if someone comes forward with to a counselor and says they have a problem, they don't know what to do? I think there's a lot of other resources that this money could support or, really benefit our children versus having this random drug test. Because as we've seen, out of all however many years we've had it, we haven't actually gotten a positive test, which I do think is a good thing. But I think, again, we go back to that deterrent of they already know when they start sports activities, they have that social media, everyone's eyes are on them, that's shared. I think that's our standard, and they know that. And I don't think it's as big of a deterrent as we think it is. I think these funds could actually go towards other programs that could help with student safety or crisis intervention or things that really do make a difference to our children. So I support Cheryl's statement about getting rid of it completely.
I think this is one of the lowest cost deterrents that you can. I mean, if kids are even thinking about moving into things that they're not supposed to, this is kind of the prevent defense, I guess, and it's not costing the district a lot of money. And, everyone can say, well, my kid would never do it, my kid would never try, or whatever. A lot of that has to do with parenting, of course, and people they hang around with at school. But this is just another part of the bigger picture. And if we're willing to start taking parts of the big picture away, pretty soon more kids slip through the cracks. And I just think it's a cheap deterrent. It's not costing the school district a lot of money, and it keeps everybody more honest.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Kelly and Mark's comments. Personally, I have a kid and a child that one of my other my daughter just graduated. Personal experience that has caused a deterrent for my kids to not get involved with certain things outside the school district that they know that could have been if they would have been picked and random test. So it is a deterrent. It does work. Being both involved with obviously athletics, and then also in a parking spot within the school district. So I think the $2,000 on a $100 million budget is like me giving you $20, but there's other things that we spend on. Like I look at the WASBA fee of $16,000. I still don't know what we add to that. But so if we want to start talking dollars, we can bring up other things that the school district spends on that. Still seeing the benefit of what we get personally, but so I'm totally for it. Any other questions? Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I have one more comment. We were made available a study where there were 40 schools that were approached in our area, and 14 responded if they had a drug testing program or not. 12 of them said no, but the two that said yes, both for Arrowhead and Pewaukee, they had positive tests. So if you don't have a testing program, how do you know? I worry about that.
Any other comments?
I will just point out that Coach Holler's talk that he gives when you have the athletic meeting is free. So that's even more cost savings.
Else? All right. Roll call. Kelly?
For clarification, what are we voting on? Can we, it's
Cheryl's
Cheryl's
We do have a
motion?
motion.
Move is to delete policy
to
5530.
delete the policy.
Motion, Cheryl, motion to delete it.
Oh.
Meredith seconded. So you want
We
to
have a motion to delete the policy on the floor?
That's
Yes,
correct.
the motion
yes.
is to delete the policy, policy 5530.0.
All right. Kelly?
No.
Meredith?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Brianna?
Yes.
Mark?
No.
And I am also no. Motion didn't pass. Will not be deleted. All right, I need a motion for policy 32.18.005.
So Niglia moves to adopt policy 3218.005, displays and postings in student environments by eliminating F6 and 7 effective July 1st, 2026.
Hold on a second. Go to
Yeah, so I don't think a motion passed. Are we bringing the
Motion
motion?
not to, but then you still have to bring it back
Correct.
to adopt.
Yeah.
You have to bring it
Correct.
back to adopt.
okay, so I
But
need a
that's right,
mo-
finish
yeah,
the one you're on first.
Okay. Still keep going, I'm sorry, Cheryl.
I made a motion to adopt policy 3218.005, displays and postings in student environments by eliminating F6 and 7, and then making number 8, number 6, effective July 1st, 2026.
Whitman seconds.
Cheryl, you have the floor.
I just feel that this is necessary for two reasons. One, on number 7, I think it is important to have places that are designated as safe for those kids and those students that feel that they need it and need that support. And as far as number 6, I think a lot of that's such a large group of the things that are not allowed in there that I think that just really limits things. So I would just like to eliminate that.
Comments? Mike?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of what Cheryl said. I think that we can, in consideration of Mr. Martin's comments, which I think were valid, I think 6 could be amended to say, F6 could be amended to say displays and postings negatively targeting only one group, et cetera, by adding it in terms of negative, inserted in terms between postings and targeting. I am real concerned about number 7, displays and postings identify a student environment as safer than the other student environments. I think this allows the possibility of political action being in the schools. I think a couple years ago when this came up, as far as a safe environment, the discussion here around the table was that every area of the school should be a safe environment, that we don't need to identify it from a posting standpoint. And the thing that I saw as far as walking through one of the middle schools was that we had these safe space stickers that were provided by a political action group. And there were a number of parents that approached me and said, this is not good, because these stickers were on every classroom. that's what my concern is with regard to that. I think it's not good.
Yeah, I would say definitely agree with both of them about number 6. Well, Mike, when it comes to, we could change the wording around that. Agree with if it, nothing negative, but we do allow certain things. So I agree with the statement that was made there. As far as 7, I will say, well, I understand the legal intent, right, was, and I wasn't here at the time of the board back then, it was to avoid comparative language between classrooms. I think that the wording that we put into number 7 risks being interpreted as discouraging affirmations of safety in our schools. If we look at the wording, it goes straight to displays and postings, identifying a student environment as safe, which in itself, I think speaking to what Mike said, every space in our schools are supposed to be safe, or safer than others or safer than other student environments. So I would say I also would want that at least to be changed, because I think the language there needs to be revised to just be clear on what we're saying, where it's saying our commitment is we're safe everywhere, and what are we missing if our children feel they need a specific safe space. I think there's a lot of room around that is very telling if we have to argue which space is safe versus which space is not. And so I think we need to revamp that entire sentence, because I think it contradicts us being a safe school. That's our number one priority, but kids are telling you that they need a certain space to feel safe. So where are we going wrong? So I think 7 needs to be rewritten, as well as 6, before I would be on board.
So I have a few comments. My first couple are to Mike. Mike, you said that you were concerned it would go political, but F3 explicitly states that you can't do political displays, so that's a moot point. I also would point out, going on further points from our previous discussion, is that a safe space signage is a low-cost, high-impact way to signal a school values every student. So we've talked a lot about low cost tonight. There's another low-cost option. I'd also like to point out something Mike said earlier about if it saves one life, isn't it worth it? If that's what we're going to do for the drug policy, isn't it worth it for this? Right now, this policy was explicitly designed to be anti-LGBT+, leading to higher rates of suicide and depression. Also, to talk about our other favorite subject that we continually talk about is test scores. Inclusive environments are linked to better standardized test scores, and that is according to different research done by both the ACLU as well as the National Institute of Health. Maybe there's a connection of why our test scores now kind of stink. Maybe it's because we're no longer inclusive. This also affects things like attendance, as well as less action in different extracurriculars, both things that we are struggling with here at Oak Creek. And so I think if you need to question why we need a safe space and why you're so upset about it, if you feel threatened by that, you might need to check your own behavior. Because right now, if we continue the way we are, I am going to suggest that we change on our district website. It currently says working together to engage, challenge, inspire every student every day. Maybe in parentheses we should add, unless you're gay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Comments? Holly?
Martin, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark.
I really don't have any comment except that there's a lot of questions here that really can't be answered, and us have the confidence that what we do with our suggestions is something that we can legally follow. So myself, I would be comfortable with holding this for review, revision, and legal opinion with whatever comes out of it. So if there's any suggestions that anybody would like to have added or deleted out of the language, we can address that at a future meeting and then have legal look at it, forward from there. Because everybody up here's got a different opinion on what we should do and what we should change. Do we have to actually get anything out of it unless we officially look at it and see what as a school district, we want to change, if there's anything we want to change, and change language, and make sure it's legal and binding, so nobody can go back and say we discriminated or we did something with the language we put in that somebody else can complain. So I think it's something that should be held. Any new thing that's added or taken out of it should be reviewed and revised, and get a legal opinion on it. Then you know you got it done.
Ellie?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the board 3 years ago when this topic came and the committee was meeting, and I remember sitting in these meetings and getting updates from the committee, and it was clear in the multiple updates that even then there could not be a neutral ground found in regards to signs and symbols. And I think it really comes down to the values of each individual. That is something that none of us are going to change for one another. It's a clear value for each one of us, how we feel on this issue. I think that at the time, and I still think there's a lot of really good points in the policy, they could not come to agreement on anything neutral. That was the point. And everyone felt certain ways, and there was nothing that we could do. And I remember hearing some of the very creative things that people were coming up with, and there was nothing that they could come to terms with that everyone agreed on. And that's why this topic brings out a lot of feelings and emotion and harshness at times. I think it also reflects interesting that, like, I think in society we're also at a place where people don't trust members of the government, us included. And I think that is something that you have to look at. I think, and I know, I look at this policy as almost a safeguard for our teachers and our administration, because people don't trust. There are parents who don't trust administration when they see posters, signs, whatever. I look at this as a way of that those administration wouldn't have to fight these fires, that we could just focus on education. I understand the points that people are saying. I do. I hear them. I also think that I think one of the points that was made, that if you have one poster then that you feel passionate about, then the opposite thing that you don't agree with would also deserve a spot on the wall as well. And that is something that then it's a free-for-all. It's so where do you stop? And so that was one of the reasons of this policy being put together. So, I don't know. I mean, those are just my thoughts.
And the other thing is, it was approved, June of 23, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't heard one situation yet. Brianna?
I would say, to speak to what Kelly just said, if one group wanted a poster, then where does it stop? Because we go to the other side. And I think that's okay. I think that if everyone wants a sticker, as long as it doesn't have political meaning into it, it's not hate speech, it's not awful. We approve this for our clubs, right? The policy number, 6 says as long as it's a club or an activity, that was our goal, right? If it's district approved, we can approve it. And there's a lot of groups that people may not agree with, or clubs, and we still give them space, because it's important to give our kids space to be them and to thrive in the environment that we give them. They don't have to agree, just like we don't always agree. So if everyone wants a sticker or a poster because that's their beliefs, as long as it's not impeding on someone's, political or right, or their race, whatever may be the case, I don't think that's too much to ask. If we go back to what Meredith said, and if this saves one student, that's enough for me. That is enough for me, which is why I don't disagree with Mark when he says, well, then we need to revisit this, reword it, and see what works for everyone. Because this isn't, I just think there's so much there, and to keep it this way I don't think is appropriate.
Dan, if we do,
I would just want to address your aside you made, Frank, that you haven't, it's been 3 years and you haven't heard anything. Maybe people don't think you're a safe space because I have heard things and I have heard complaints. So a lot of times when you're marginalizing a group, you're not going to hear their complaints.
so Dan, if we do legalize,
We have a motion on the floor right now that you have to act on. So Cheryl made a motion and was seconded to adopt this policy with the caveat that you'd eliminate F6 and F7 and make F8 now F6. Is that correct, Cheryl?
That is correct.
take a roll call here.
Wait a
No,
minute,
wait.
wait a minute.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and you just think, if you get rid of 6 and 7, you have nothing, there, in terms of, as far as I see it, then it's fair game. You take
Still have
those out and
political
you
ads.
hold on, then you omit those, and you've got nothing. You've got no policy if you take those out.
So then you're admitting that you're only just anti-gay people, anti-black people. Okay,
Oh,
hold
wait
on.
a minute.
You gotta
Read the
say-
part
Enough.
about respect
Enough.
here.
It talks about
you
political
gotta-
displays.
Meredith, you gotta relax on that. Brianna,
To that point, I would say that 3 talks about political displays. We talk about other things. This policy is a good policy outside of 6 and 7. It still covers us as a district. It still talks about no political issues. Like we can't display that, right? That's controversy. But 6 and 7 specifically talk about who people are and what they believe as far as what they want, what they believe. And so No, I don't agree with that. There's a lot of good things in this policy outside of 6 and 7. That doesn't get rid of everything.
anybody else?
Yeah. And I'd go with what I said a little bit earlier. Hold this, and then,
We still gotta vote though.
all right,
Yeah, there's still a motion.
it's either to pass it or to
Yep.
do something else.
Yep,
But
yep.
I'm just
Yep.
putting my feelings out there.
Yep.
To hold it, review, revise it, and come back with a legal opinion on anything new that
Cheryl?
Cheryl's got
I
her
got
hand.
it.
Would I be able to rescind my motion and say that we could table it and send it back for discussion?
Yes.
Okay, then I rescind my motion to send it back for discussion.
Give a second.
Ellen Kaiser seconds that.
Cheryl, you have the floor.
I think we should take some of the things that have been said and look at how we can come up with this policy. I know Neola, I know, Mark, you had said you want to get legal opinions on it. Neola was the one that writes this policy, and they use all of their legal people. We can certainly have ours look at it as well, but Neola's, that's their expert, that's why we have them. So I'm, and it's, we also have to look at too, this was written, or this, not written, but this was discussed and came about 3 years ago. I would really like to hope that we've come a little further in 3 years, that maybe we can come to some agreement on something where we couldn't before.
Dan?
Just for point of clarification, this is our current existing policy. Neola did not write this, so this is the policy that came into being in 2003. Just as a reminder for the board, when you see a .005 after the Neola policy number, that means that is our original policy. So we just put it in Neola's format. So it is Neola's policy. It is our policy that's currently in effect right now.
Okay, so now we have to vote on Cheryl's,
Yes.
roll call. Kelly?
You want to restate?
Restate the motion, Cheryl.
All right, so Niglia is making a motion to rescind the policy to send it back for discussion and revision.
Ellen Kaiser second.
List everything. Roll call. Kelly?
Let me clarify, we're rescinding all of this until we go through it again, so that we don't have a policy in the interim?
Right now, all you're doing is you're voting on Cheryl's rescinding of her motion.
Okay,
That's all you're doing right now.
got it, okay.
More questions, Mike?
No.
Anybody else? All right, Kelly,
Yes.
Meredith,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Brianna,
Yes.
Mark?
Yep.
Frank's a yes. So motion passed to go back to the legal side of it. Review.
Well, you just
You have to have-
rescinded.
Yes, now you have to have a
So
motion
what I would
to
suggest
move forward.
is you look at motion number 2 on the situation report and amend it to say,
So means I have to make a motion to go back to review.
right,
So Neglia makes a motion to send policy 3218.005, displays and postings in the student environments, back to committee and back to administration for further discussion.
Alan Kaiser seconds.
Cheryl, you have the floor.
I have nothing more to add.
Cheryl, could you repeat that one more time, please?
Sure. So Neglia moves to send back policy 3218.005, displays and postings in student environments, back to committee for revision.
So I've heard, and I've heard members of this board talking about a legal review.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you want that part of that?
Yes, I would assume that would be a legal review as well.
Okay. All that? Let's, Cheryl, could you put it, maybe put it in words with the legal review piece in there?
Doing great.
So Neglia moves to adopt policy 3218.005, displays and postings in student environments for further review and legal opinion.
I second again. Okay. Alan Kaiser seconds.
More discussion.
I have nothing else to add.
Roll call.
Roll call. Kelly,
Yes.
Meredith,
No.
Mike,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Motion's passed. We'll go back to legal review. Now we gotta go,
Back to motion.
now we gotta go back to motion 1. I need to make a motion for the random drug test to stay as is. I can get a motion.
Kinnear moves to adopt policy 5530.005, random drug testing policy effective July 1st, 2026.
Raylan seconds.
Any discussion? Kelly, you have the floor.
Nothing more to add.
Roll call. Kelly,
Yes.
Meredith,
No.
Mike,
Yep.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Cheryl,
No.
Brianna,
No.
Mark.
Yes.
Frank's a yes. Motion's passed. Adopt 5530.05, the random drug policy, testing policy. All right.